Hi, I'm Dr. Anita McLaughlin, a transformational counselor, podcaster, mentor, chaplain, author, and entrepreneur. And there's something that I want you to remember. The diamonds of your life are produced through time, heat, and pressure. The cut, clarity, and size, or the characteristics of your life's experiences determine how you will use them. And the way that you use them has great value because there are diamonds in you. The last time that we were together, I began to tell you a little bit more about myself for you to understand a little bit on where I've been in my life's journey and what it took to get me to a place of restoration from the losses that I experienced. And in that, I told you that we would go through a number of different aspects of life because, again, life is spiritual. And in order to attract to ourselves what we really want from life, we're going to have to heal some things. Sometimes we're looking at and you're asking, God, universe, spirit, creator, what's going on? Why am I not able to achieve what I want? Part of the reason why is because the brokenness in you has to be repaired and restored. Being able to come up against a challenge lets us know that there is something challenging us. And we can't look at it as a problem. I always tell people that problems are something that we want to get rid of. We just want to get rid of the problem, get it out of here. I don't want to deal with that. But challenges are something to be overcome. With a challenge, we have the ability to work our way around it, under it, over it, or barrel our way through. But we will get to the other side. So yes, there may be challenges that have held you back. There may be challenges that you feel as though you can't overcome to reach your goal. And I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. Yes, you can. I talked to you a little bit about the losses that I experienced in my life. And I told you the devastation that it took to the point where I was unable to even get up and get to work. I could not stand up off of my couch. But I began to get help and I began to get strengthened. What strengthened me was developing a spiritual foundation. So when we talk about the fact that life is spiritual, which I believe that it is, I believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. I believe that within this body that you see are 3 levels. We have our physical body, we have our spiritual self, our real self, and that real self has a mind, will, and emotions. So I term that as the soulish realm, the soulish realm. Within that soulish realm, we come across a lot of the constricting and restricting behaviors that we experience that keep us from overcoming what we're and getting where we want to go. So most of the things that we're going to be talking about have to do with that soulish man, the way that we think, our mind, our will, and dealing with our emotions. One of the things that I know that holds people back is not being able to let go or forgive people for what they've done. They did so, you don't understand what they did. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I understand how great a offense can be. I've had some horrific offenses take place in my life. And what I found, and you hear people say it all the time, that I'm not forgiving that person for them. I'm forgiving that person for me. I need to move on. And whoever they were and whatever they didn't understand what was going to happen in their own lives. I don't necessarily believe that people who do other people wrong prosper. I don't believe that when they knowingly do something to someone else that they're just going to be fine and dandy and it's just going to all be rosy. I don't believe that. I believe that when a person gets quiet and still, that those things come back up. I believe that until we deal with the inside of who we are, we can never achieve what we want on the outside. So we're going to look at emotional issues, hurts, disappointments, betrayals. We're going to look at those things, and we're also going to look to see who we were in that situation. Was I the person who perpetrated the harm? Was I the person who was the deceiver, the betrayer? Or was I the person who received the hurt? And was I the person who was betrayed? Because both sides of that needs healing. You can't attract to yourself healthy things unless you are healthy. And I don't mean that in terms of doing your treadmill and riding on your bike or being able to do resistance training. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about until you're healthy in your mind, your soul, your emotions. You can't be healthy outside. I believe that many times that when people are attempting to remove weight from their bodies, that weight is reflecting a weight in their hearts. And so what we're looking to do is to remove that weight in your heart, and that other stuff will just melt away. I was looking at another YouTuber, Ben, on Elevate, and he gave his life story, and he talked about how he was obese. I'll just use the word, he was obese. And he said he was going by a mirror one time, and just out of his peripheral view, he saw himself, but he saw himself thin. He saw himself as the person who was actually inside of him. I relate so much to that because when I went through the experience of my loss of my family, my home, my child, and I'll add one little piece to that, which I don't share frequently, but it carried with it a court battle, okay? It carried a court battle because my son was wrongfully, he died because of a medical wrong that took place, okay? Someday I might talk about it, and then I may not. And the reason why is because when it was time to relinquish that legal fight, I let it go. And I don't necessarily want to bring that back into where I am today. So I mention it to you. I don't know whether I will ever go into any detail regarding it, other than to say that during that time and during that fight, I lost weight. My emotional state was as such that I wasn't hungry. I couldn't eat. I didn't even think about eating. It wasn't like I was refusing food. It never dawned on me that I needed to eat. So some would say, well, you were anorexic. I absolutely was anorexic. I absolutely was anorexic. I was a mother with a child, and I weighed 89 pounds. And I have pictures to prove it, not that I want to see them again. But I'm telling you this to say that as my heart began to heal, I began to heal. As I began to heal inside, my outside began to heal. I didn't do anything to begin to become healthy on the outside physically. I didn't do anything. I just went to bed and woke up and felt a little better and got a little better. Went to bed and woke up, and one day I was no longer forgetting to eat. I was no longer fighting myself. I was able to become healthy. When I talk to you about the fact that for me, and this is just for me, that scripture was very vital. I started learning things like, beloved, I wish above all things that you would be in health and prosper as your soul prospers. I said, man, that's deep. Be in health and prosper as my soul prospers. And then I began to connect the dots. If my soul isn't prospering, I can't be in health and I won't prosper. And then I want us to also understand what that term prosper means. Prosper is more than just money. Prosper is everything about you. Prosper is your emotional state, it's physical, it's your social, it's being able to interact with people, it's being able to appreciate that interaction, it's being able to accomplish your goals, being able to do what you didn't think you'd be able to do and go beyond where you thought that you could ever go. Prosperity covers everything. And I began to find out that if I wasn't feeling good in my heart, if I wasn't good in my mind, my will, and my emotions, nothing around me was going to be good. And my young son that I still had was not going to do well. And I began to understand that I needed to let go of those things. Look at it in the term of, do I want to continue living my life looking in the rearview mirror? Or do I want to look out of the front window and determine and drive to where I want to go? There were some things that I did in order to accomplish having a different life. And one of those, it sounds really, really simple, but you had to make a conscious decision to do it. I began to make a conscious decision to do things differently. So it's like, well, Dr. Anita, what does that mean? Do things differently. It means that I made a conscious decision that when I went out of my door to go to the store, I was going to go a different way. If I usually went left, I was going to make a right turn. If I usually made a right turn, I was going to make a left turn. And what happened is that by doing things differently, I found a whole new world. I found places that I'd never been, things that I'd never seen. I began to live a different life because I began to do things differently. Sometimes we've been so determined that we're going to do this and this is the only way, and there's more than one way. There's more than one way. What we have to do is to determine that coming out of the place that we're in is more important than staying where we are. It's more important than being right. It's more important than just getting my way. Being able to move to where I want to go in life, to be who I want to be, express who I truly am, is more important than trying to make somebody happy, than trying to do what they say I should do because that's the way they think I should do it. I'm not one of those, and probably you aren't either. And that's probably why you're listening to me right now. There is another way that you can go, and it's the way that has been designed for you to go. Please continue coming back. Please press that like button. Please subscribe, and please tell someone. Until we come back again, you have got to know there are diamonds in you.